we're in the middle of April and we have water in the bottom of this stream, which is something that's quite unusual for this area. So the weirs are holding that moisture up, and they've enabled this natural regrowth that we can see around us at the moment.
Today we are on Jason Stokes' property. We're in Nabwa, which is about 35 kilometres northeast of Geraldton. It's a mixed production farm, so broadacre cropping and sheep. It's one of the key project points within the Chapman Catchment Regeneration project, which NRM ran from 2021 through to 2023. The key focus of that project was regenerating the catchment from the top down. The key points being that we slow water flow, we build some natural capital within the system, get some revegetation happening, provide some production benefits to the landholders that are hosting sites. The Chapman Catchment project is a good example of the sort of works that NACC undertakes through its Sustainable Agriculture program. We're focused on making sure that the natural environment within the Northern Agricultural region is managed proactively, ensuring that agriculture remains environmentally, economically and socially sustainable.
Where we're standing here at the moment is a tributary to the Chapman River. It's called Durrawar Gully. Yeah, this river has a lot of road systems that drain into it, which means that it ends up with heavy flows early or at the start of the season.
A lot of these systems have been within production systems on farms for a long time. They've been grazed. There's not much vegetation left in them. The water flows through very quickly. In the parts of the catchment like where we are now, there's a lot of road systems. There's a lot of hard catchment areas that feed water in at a very rapid pace. So slowing that down has been a key objective.
Yeah, of what you can see, probably 80% of it's natural regen, but the planting in the river was about developing an understory to provide protection for all the little critters to hopefully help our production systems.
Because while these trees regenerate quickly, they look good, that is really only one part of that system. That's a top story. So we've actually mechanically planted in the bottom of this riverbed and into this weir itself a couple of understory species. There's some melaleucas, some casuarinas.
Maintaining gum trees within the environment is easy, but maintaining understory is a challenge with our current management systems. We've put in 3, I think it is, leaky weirs within this couple of 100 metre section of the river with the aim of slowing the water flow down and catching the sediment.
The fact that you sort of can drive past it without going, oh, that's an intervention, is exactly what we're going for. You'll notice it's the key features of there's some larger rocks that probably would have naturally been here. That would have been the selection process for where we would put this leaky weir. And within that, we then use whatever material we can find. So there's some locally sourced stone here, which will have been from further up the riverbank. Some of it may have already been in the riverbed itself, just here. There's a couple of other things that are good markers for the fact that this is a man-made structure. There's a little bit of building rubble in here. There's some house bricks. There's a limestone block over there. But the key feature of all of this is that it's just stacked on top of itself. Its job is not to stop the water, it is simply to slow it down. So this structure, as it is, leaks terribly and on purpose. You can sort of see behind me here now, this is only a small tributary on this system that we're looking at today, but it gives you an idea of what the whole thing would have looked like within an agricultural production system before we started investing time on it. It's devoid of a lot of vegetation, there's no ground cover in it. This one is only short, and so there's not been a lot of water flow through it, but you would typically also see where the tributary bends, you'll get a cutout and you'll get quite a sharp cliffside on one side of the creek. And over time, that just keeps collapsing. You sort of end up with these really damaged parts of a landscape where there's not much production value, there's not much environmental value.
We came into this project with the aim of trying to slow that water down, and get some native revegetation into the river banks to stabilise the river banks and the river systems, whilst also utilising some of the other low-lying areas associated with the creeks for salt bush production, for filling our autumn feed gap for our sheep.
Obviously, it's an operating farm. We want to be able to make some money out of it. We want to get a return on the things we're investing in. So where we're standing now is a slightly higher part of the river and tributary system on this property. The decision was made that we would plant some salt bush in here. There is, in a couple of places, some larger species that have been planted to provide shade. The idea is that we're still on this sort of wide, slightly higher landscape where the water flows are slower and wider. This will just capture the water, it'll turn it into a feedstock. It gives the landholder some return on investment, it improves the system. This is a bit of a sort of win-win-win if you take an approach that looks at the environmental, social and economic outcome of an activity. This is bang smack in the middle. The Chapman Catchment Regeneration project itself involved a few different partnerships. We worked as closely as you could with the local groups. In the northern part of the catchment, that's the Northern Agri Group and the Una Farm Improvement Group. As we move further down towards the city of Geraldton, we were working with the Friends of Chapman River and a couple of small local groups in there. In total, I'd estimate that the engagement with the local community, with landholders, people that live within town sites like Nansen and Nabwa and Una, we'd probably be in the order of somewhere about 150 people total would be involved in a project like this, which, when you stop and think about it, when you drive through this landscape and you look at how far apart the houses are, it's pretty incredible that we get that kind of buy-in for the things that we do. We wouldn't really be able to achieve anywhere near the sort of outcomes that we can without working with our local groups, without working with partnering NRMs, without working with the landholders that are directly able to implement works like the Chapman Catchment project that we're looking at today.
I guess the importance of the collective impact when dealing with catchment scale projects is that, the catchment is larger than any one individual. The impacts of those higher up the catchment are, impact everyone further downstream. To enable whole system regeneration, you need buy-in from all parties, the whole length of the catchment.
So the Chapman Catchment, although the majority of its landscape is out in this agricultural area, it does meet the ocean within the bounds of the city of Geraldton. And everything that happens out here has a direct effect on the quality of the water and the quality of the landscape on the part of the city where that water flows through. It is possible to have better water quality, to have slower water flow through the city, to improve the public benefit for everyone that lives on that catchment. And even though the population is sparse out here, where the catchment meets the ocean, there is a lot of people. Without a collective approach to maintaining our ecosystem and to maintaining our natural resources, it really isn't possible to achieve what we want to see happen, which is that all of these things are done in a sustainable way that we can keep doing forever.